Good morning. I'm Mark Allen with Gaper.io, and I'm here today with Zack James, the founder and president of Rabbit Tractors. Good morning, Zack. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Mark. I'm doing good.
That's good. So can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Yeah, so myself, I am a corporate law and finance guy.
Hmm.
So studied finance, did that for a couple of years, then went and got a law degree at the University of Michigan, worked at the SEC for a little bit. Um, I mostly did corporate governance and securities work, but I've always had an entrepreneurial bend. So after doing that, I was trying to find a way to get back sort of to my roots, back to rural Indiana. And so I founded a company, Rabbit Tractors.
Very good. And what has been your experience with remote employment, both as a remote employee and a remote employer?
So right when I started Rabbit, I actually did remote legal services for a while
Hmm.
to just kind of keep the lights on as I was going out and seeking venture capital funding. And I liked it so much that as we're building out Rabbit Tractors, we are a completely remote team, at least at the moment, and probably for a long time into the future, most of us will work remotely at least a large portion of the time.
Very interesting. What's been your experience as a remote employee?
I don't think I'll ever work in an office again. It's once you kind of work out the kinks of the system, keep the dogs from barking, keep the kids from running in when you're on calls. It's even just the increase in productivity and efficiency from not having to drive to work every day. It's kind of a game changer. And then the other thing I really like about it is the flexibility in your scheduling, right? If it's
Mhm.
2 p.m. on a Tuesday and I need to go do something, I can go do it.
Yes, I know what you mean. Actually, I went to the grocery store this morning before this um, call. So, and what do you think is the future of remote employment, and what do you think could be done differently to make it better and more effective?
So from the employer side, I think that the companies that are trying to embrace remote employment or remote work, they need to really completely embrace it. It's no longer a 9 to 5 lifestyle, right?
Mm.
A lot of the negative things you'll hear is that the 9 to 5 lifestyle is done. Like, right, the people are on their phones at 7 p.m. doing stuff, 8 p.m. doing stuff, uh, which it's not good if you're also working 9 to 5. But
Mhm.
what employers need to think about is that, okay, 1 till 2, I might not be in the office, or in the morning I might go to the grocery store, and that does not that's not a detriment to the employee. It doesn't make the employee worse of a person because they're not available for a Zoom call at 8 a.m. every day. So I think to really see it adopt and stick long term, employers just need to be a little more flexible in their understanding of work time, work hours.
And I think you are seeing that in the current situation that employers have had to bend the rules a little bit for all of us. So,
Yeah, I would say one of the big benefits, I guess one of the only benefits of this entire epidemic is that these companies are having to go to remote work 100% all immediately. There's no slow phasing into it.
mhm.
So that oversight that might come from people who are a little wary of remote work just is not possible in the current situation. It's just it'd be information overload for them.
So what is the story behind Rabbit Tractors? What do you offer, and who do you help, and what's the journey been like?
Yeah, so at our core, we're an autonomous tractor company. We build both autonomous navigation software as well as the tractor itself, the what we call a farm utility robot. Because the belief is that so the driver of or of a tractor, he only makes $13.50 an hour, and he's only a part-time worker. So that savings alone really isn't enough to adopt autonomous technology in agriculture. Where we think the real value to a farmer is going to be is that when you're no longer tied to a driver per tractor, you can rethink what a tractor actually is. And so that's what we're doing. We're building what we call a farm utility robot, and it's a small, compact vehicle. It's about the size of a golf cart, about the same horsepower as a golf cart, but
Hmm.
it's all electric, omnidirectional steering. And the idea is that you run 3 to 5 of our smaller units instead of one big $500,000 450 horsepower tractor.
Hmm. Very interesting, and I would imagine that has a huge savings to the farmer.
Sure. Yeah. From a efficiency standpoint, we use about 28 times less energy than a tractor would on a per acre basis. A large portion of that is because we're all electric, and we are all electric. So you can source your power in different ways. And then from a productivity standpoint, we're about 30% more productive on a per dollar purchasing cost basis. And then agronomically, one of the big robbers of yields for a farmer is soil compaction. When you drive a 20-ton tractor over the soil, that ground gets smashed down and it's hard like concrete. And the roots of the plant kind of, they really got to work to fight through that. And so the plant's spending all of its energy fighting to grow roots instead of growing your corn or your soybean. So by eliminating that 20-ton tractor, we eliminate that soil compaction, and a farmer can see up to a 15% increase in yield, so a 15% increase in revenue just by the tractor not weighing as much.
Wow, that's really cool. And I've driven golf carts, and they are not really very heavy. They bounce around a lot. So, how did you incorporate the idea of remote at your company?
So we all work remotely. And that was just kind of us being a startup, right? I go find some guys. As you can guess, it was kind of hard for a lawyer to find engineers willing to quit at whatever they were doing and join a remote tractor company or an autonomous tractor company. So just by necessity, the people I found were not located, in the Chicago suburbs, so we were going to work remotely. And going out of that, we all kind of really enjoyed it. We were independent. I found that the people who wanted to do that type of work remotely, were independent self-starters, perfect people for startups, kind of what you're really looking for in a startup. And we just continue to grow in that manner.
Very cool. So the ongoing pandemic has caused a lot of companies to go remote, as we talked about earlier. On day one, they had no choice. Did that pose any major roadblocks or challenges that you didn't expect?
Not for us, right? We were already completely remote, at least for the 90% of the work we do is remote. So we did not have any challenges in it. It was kind of, welcome to the party for everyone else. We've been here for a while.
So it's a non-event, and I'm assuming you don't have an office anywhere?
So we have a barn basically, but it's a barn in my backyard on a farm field, and the guys only come there when they need to do something on the hardware. But we've always been set up to work remotely, and pretty much everything we do is in simulation software. So right since this epidemic actually started, no one has needed to come to the warehouse or the shop besides me. And that's not because we're staying at home. It's just no one's needed to yet.
Oh, that's interesting. And your developers, are they local and they just don't come in?
They're global. So we have a couple guys local in West Lafayette, which is about an hour and a half from me, and then some people out in Poland actually.
Oh, cool. Very nice. So there are companies like Gaper that help develop, build, and scale products, especially for startups like yourself. How important do you think these setups are going to be going forward for someone like yourself who needs to hire the right person and needs to hire them quickly?
Yeah, so the vetting process and sort of, I guess, seeing if someone fits into your corporate culture is probably the biggest challenge we've had, right? If you don't have an office that kind of exemplifies that corporate culture where people can kind of come and just observe and you can see how they interact with the other people, it's pretty hard to do that. It's pretty hard to remotely onboard someone. So having companies that help you vet engineers specifically beforehand is pretty beneficial.
Yeah, and we're finding that ourselves. Well, Zach, thank you. I want to thank you for your time today. It's been very informative. It's actually a really cool idea. I've never even, thought about that, although I don't think about farming a lot. And I want to thank you again and have a great day.
All right, thank you.